welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. I am still your host, Emmanuel Jr., the Chief Crusader against corruption in Ghana. I am excited to be back on your screen. If you know, and I'm sure you know very well, for some time now, I haven't been on the screen because I was off. I did a bit of a travel. And so I want to use this very moment to thank my team members and individuals who held the fort, particularly you, the viewer, who have been my guests always for holding the fort in my absence. My senior brother, Eric Ahianya, I want to say thank you so much. My junior brother, William, Wisdom, thank you so much. And I want to thank all my wonderful team members that we have here. If you remember, I mean, looking back when we started this year, I made a promise, and the promise was that in this year being an election year, Politics and Beyond is going to help you to make the right decisions as far as December 7th election, general election, is concerned. And that's exactly what we've been doing over the past period. We are in the second half of this year. It is important for us to know that we are nearing the elections. And so Politics and Beyond is going to take a little different style in ensuring that we give you the right information in making the right decision. And we talk about the right decision always because, you see, governance is a serious business, and I'll go into that very soon. But whilst I was away, there were a number of things that took place, so many of them. Strangely, just 3 or 4 caught my attention. And before we take a commercial break, I want us to just talk about them, just one bit of it. Remember, some few weeks or so ago, we woke up to a whole deputy minister in charge of Ghana's local governments, in the person of Vincent something, you know. He was given a platform to discuss how his government is helping the ordinary citizen of this country. And he rather used that platform to tell us that poverty in Ghana is better than poverty in America. And I was surprised when I read that. It is not about the comment he made, whether or not the comment is true. I'm not interested in that. But it is rather the mindset of the leaders, or some of the leaders that we are paying with our taxes. That in this dispensation where individual countries, serious countries, are talking about how to build billionaires and to make their citizens rich, we rather have ministers in this country debating whether or not our poverty is better than the poverty of another country. I mean, it just beats my imagination to have such a thinking being in the minds of individuals that we are paying with our taxes to help us move our economy from where it is to where it's supposed to be. They have resigned because, as far as they are concerned, they are rather concentrating on poverty, and they think that poverty in Ghana is better than poverty elsewhere. What a shame. I mean, we'll dive into that in subsequent episodes. Then also came another story or news that I read whilst away, talking about the current government going in to choose someone who is supposed to be their running mate, and I'm making reference to Mr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And when I watched this gentleman's demeanor, juxtaposing it to even his past, what he did at the Ministry of Education, what he did at the Ministry of Energy, that pompous attitude, where he had the audacity to tell the taxpayer that if they believe or they think that there's doom so, we should bring our own timetable. And yet this is the person that has been appointed or chosen to go through the process, and if they win, he's supposed to hold or occupy the second highest office. The same person, the first comment he made relating his government to Nkrumah's government, saying that his government is the best. Indeed, if it is not ignorance in the highest order, if it is not arrogance in the highest order, then I'm really struggling to appreciate or understand or look for the appropriate word. And I was surprised that right after his first speech, his party members decided to go round apologizing. And the first question that came into my mind is, if this man becomes the vice president of Ghana, then I believe very strongly that Ghana every moment will be spending its resources apologizing to the international community for comments that he will be making. But as I said, we'll also go into that and dive into it deeply. The other one that I also heard had to do with an appointment that came from the president. And I'm making reference to His Excellency Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo has made an unprecedented appointment, and that has to do with appointing a deputy IGP, something that has never happened because we don't even have it in our constitution. And you see, it reminds me of the era of Donald Trump when he was about exiting. He wanted to make certain crucial appointments. And his advisors told him that even though he has the right to make those appointments, because of the timing, because it was closer to their election, because of the timing, it wouldn't be prudent for him to make those appointments. And he heeded, he listened, and he did not. Same can be said of Barack Obama when he was about exiting. He wanted to make certain appointments. He was advised against it, and he decided not to do it. But clearly, this president has communicated to us that he's a president who doesn't listen to anyone. And I keep asking myself that if we had had this president as a military leader, I am just imagining where the state of this country would have been. Because over the past period, in his period of being a president, clearly he has shown to us that he's worse than a tyrant. And that is exactly, that is the blatant truth. That is exactly what he has communicated to us. But the question is, what do we need a deputy IGP for? Look at the number of months we have left. In charge of operation. What does that mean? What does that tell us? Not an appointment coming from the IGP, but an appointment coming from the sitting president. In other words, the deputy IGP owes his allegiance, and the deputy IGP reports directly to the one who appointed him, and that has to do with the president. What does it communicate to us as far as December 7th elections is concerned? That is also one thing that came up in my absence. And as I said, subsequent episode will have enough time to also dive into it. But there's also one thing that came. I mean, as I said, so many things took place. But one that I want to dwell on to end this segment has to do with the current vice president, who is also a presidential candidate for the ruling party, requesting for a debate, presidential debate. And I asked myself, what is the essence of a presidential debate? Because you see, among other things, the basic reason why we will create a platform for a presidential debate is for us to assess the minds, the intellectual capacities of those individuals who want to lead us. But the good thing is, whether Bawumia or Mahama, we have experienced both of them. I think we don't need a presidential debate at this time. What we need is individuals like you and I assessing these two gentlemen based on what or how we know them. When President Mahama was President Mahama, what did he do? Let's assess him by those things. When His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, almost 8 years on, in charge of the economic management team, vice president, the current president made it clear to all of us that he is virtually in charge of everything. Other statesmen or leading members of his party like Osafo Mafu and Co. have also come to tell us categorically that we are where we are because of him his leadership. So he also has a track record. We don't need a debate. We need to look at their track records. And it is not for them to tell us. If indeed their track records are something to go by, the track record should speak for them. We don't need them to come and have a debate for us to talk about it. But in any case, I remember very well that in 2016 elections, His Excellency Bawumia came up with about 170 questions. And those questions, the rationale behind those questions were that if any government has got answers to those questions, Ghana's economy should be changed overnight. Strangely, His Excellency Bawumia had the opportunity to lead us almost 8 years on. Not a single question from that 170 questions that he himself posed has been answered. And so if indeed he's requesting for a debate, as a citizen, I would rather want to plead and tell him that what we need as citizens, we need answers from him on those 170 questions that he posed. We just need those answers, and we will be satisfied, because we don't need any debate. But you see, come to think of it, there's this old adage and this old principle that we've all been, brought up to, or we've been schooled in. It tells us some categories of individuals that you don't need to go into an argument of any sort with, whether it's in a form of a debate, discussion, what have you. You don't have to go into that with them. Those two categories. One is a person who has got a low IQ, or his or her intelligence is lower than the average. You don't have to waste your time going into any debate or argument with such a person. The second one is someone who lies or who is a flip-flopper. Anybody who raises or requests for a debate, you are supposed to assess that person using these two yardsticks. If the person has a low IQ, you don't have to go into any debates with that person. If you see that over the past period, the person has justified himself as a chronic liar or a flip-flopper, you don't have to waste your time going into any conversation or argument with such a person. But I think, speaking on behalf of my followers and also as a Ghanaian, citizens do not need any debates, presidential debates, no. What we need answers to the 170 questions that were raised or were asked in the year 2016. And we'll have enough information to make our own decisions. We don't need any rhetorics. We don't need any gimmicks. We need action and words. That is what we need to talk for us. This evening's episode is going to be an interactive episode, because being away for a while and coming back, I think it is time for me to also touch base a bit with my viewers, making reference to you, my guests. So it's going to be very interactive. At the appropriate time, what we are going to do is to open the phone lines for you to call in and to share your views and to share your ideas, comments, what have you, questions, what have you. We are going to be interactive. But even before then, our text lines or WhatsApp lines are activated. In fact, we have just one WhatsApp line, so it is activated. You can have it, you can see it on your screen. 050-888-1800. It is activated. You can share your comments, your questions, and all that. As I said, it's going to be very, very interactive. This evening, we are going to have no in-studio guest. The guest is you, the viewer. So we are going to interact. At the right time, we'll activate the phone lines for you to also call in. You can also connect with us on our social media platforms, our Facebook, our YouTube addresses, platforms. They are all going to be on the screen. You can connect. You can share them also and encourage your friends, loved ones to also connect. Remember, this is your transformative platform, Politics and Beyond. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll move into the next segment where you will also be invited to interact with us. Stay tuned.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check.
Visit AutoChecks at Koforidua Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. Auto checks.
Check.
AutoChecks, your safety, our priority.
Check, auto checks.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
Ifo kra na menyisika. Edia ye mefui.
Ehin fa na menya bosia. Edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre. Mi yebusia ato taxi foforo. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yema kwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekokro bosia, susu account. Ene da so wɔ hɔ savings account. Me bada chain savings account. Ene de akeka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 03422919896. Na won so wetumi aka sɛ
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Me damwase.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Emmanuel Jr., your host for your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. Let me just be quick to say that the line on the screen, the number on the screen, is for WhatsApp messages, not even WhatsApp calls, but WhatsApp messages. And so those who have already started calling in, just exercise a bit of a patience. You can send in your messages, but at the right time, I will announce the number that you can use to call into the show. But the WhatsApp line for text messages is 050-888-1800, and that's the line we are using for WhatsApp messages. Thank you so much. I can see how eager you want to join in. Don't worry, you are the guest this evening, so you'll surely get opportunity to get in. I have always said, and this is not the first time those who have been following me will hear me say this, that governance is a serious business. And I keep saying that governance is a serious business, and so we shouldn't look at it like a game of chess where you just come and be pushing the buttons and then you go and sleep and you think that is all. The reason why I say it's a serious business is because anything that happens in governance, it has a direct and indirect effect on you. And not just you. It affects your present, your future, your generation, your next generation, your children, even children yet to be born. It affects them significantly. And so anytime you get the opportunity to go and exercise your franchise by voting, don't see it as just a fun. Okay, so I go to the ballot. I am issued a ballot paper. I go to the booth. I go and thumbprint. maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maximum 30 minutes, I am gone. You think that is it? No, that's not it. That decision that you took, let's even say averagely it took you 15 minutes to go through the process. That decision that you took, 15 minutes decision that you took, it is a decision going to affect 4 years of your future. That is the direct effect. Indirectly, it affects more than 4 years of your life. Because you see, if you decide to vote for someone today, next 4 years you may get opportunity to vote again. And so you say, even if the person is worse off, the next 4 years you will change the person. But you see, the mess that the person would have caused within the 4 years, it may take probably 20, 50 years to clear. And so it is not just about now or the next 4 years, but it is about the unknown future. And that is why it's very, very important for us. Anytime we get opportunity to make decisions when it has to do with voting, we go through things critically. If you take our constitution, Article 42, 43, 44, in fact, 43, 44, and 45 gives us the mandate, the power, the authority that every 4 years we go into the electoral process to go and vote. You know, fortunately, 2024 is the 4th year, so we are in the 4th year. December 7th will be the exact day that we'll go through the process of voting. We had the same opportunity in recent times. 2016 we had opportunity, 2020 we had opportunity. The question that we should ask ourselves is that the decisions that we took in 2016, because 2016, then 2020 was your future, was my future, 4 years future. Between 2016 and 2020, how did the decision we took in 2016 impacted in our lives for 2020? We got the opportunity to vote again in 2020. 4 years on, we are in the 4th year. December will be the 4th year when we made that decision. Ask yourself, the decision you took in 2020, how has it impacted in your life this past 4 years? And when you begin to picture it, it will give you an idea of what I'm trying to paint. That governance is a serious business, because whatever decision you take, it affects your future. I will quickly take you through some few things that has taken place since we went to make the decision we made the past elections, and to also bring to your attention what its impact has been. There was, in the year 2017, a novelty. The Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia-led administration created a new ministry, and they called the Ministry for Special Development and Initiative. A ministry that was hitherto we didn't have it. It was created. One of the things that ministry did, as we speak, the ministry is no more. Whether or not the ministry was really created for a specific purpose, and now that it has finished achieving its purpose, the ministry has collapsed or what? Those who created it, Dr. Bawumia and then Akufo-Addo, will be the best persons to tell us the rationale behind it. But one thing that they did has to do with taking you and I, our taxes, an amount of 800,000 Ghana cedis, to create a website. For the past 2-3 days, I've been trying to get to that website, and that website doesn't exist. Then I realized that, okay, that website doesn't exist because the ministry doesn't exist. 800,000 Ghana cedis was used to develop a website, which doesn't exist anymore. Now, you ask yourself, what was the rationale behind this? Or you will just say to yourself, well, everyone does it, so well, how does it even affect me? How does it? But the question is this: 800,000 Ghana cedis is an amount of money that we could have used to do something that would have helped your future, that would have helped my future, that would have helped our community. as we speak, reports from the UN says that 1 Ghanaian out of every 10 has to spend more than 30 minutes to access an improved source of drinking water. 30 minutes. Sometimes when you are in this part of the world or this part of the country where you just go to your kitchen, your washroom, you open the tap and you get water, you may not appreciate what this report is talking about. But my brothers, my sisters, my family members who live outside this particular jurisdiction appreciates and knows what we are talking about. And that's why I keep saying that don't you limit yourself and say that Greater Accra is all about Ghana. No, it's not. Now on the screen you will see some of, these are the people I'm referring to. These are fellow citizens, Ghanaians. The report says that 1 out of 10 Ghanaian has to spend more than 30 minutes in assessing improved source of drinking water. 11% of Ghana's population still drink from surface and other unsafe water sources, just like what we are seeing on the screen. This is it. How individuals are drinking water. 76% of households in Ghana are at risk of drinking water that is contaminated with fecal matters. Now, in Ghana, and again, in Ghana, according to World Health Organization, 7,653 deaths occurs averagely every year as a result of water, sanitation, and hygiene-related illnesses. The effects of the decisions we took tells you how serious governance is. Because we took that decision, individuals that we elected to take care of us and to reason for us decided that they are going to use this amount of money to build a website which lasted for less than how many years God knows. That ministry, you and I are still not sure the impact of that ministry to Ghana's economy even as we speak, to your future, to my future even as we speak. But that money was used to create just a website. And look at the effect, the amount of, or the quantity, the number of individuals, 7,653 deaths occurs averagely each year in Ghana as a result of water, sanitation, and hygiene related illnesses. I mean, if you have this, just imagine and think of it. Unless you don't have sympathy and empathy, to have a fellow citizen drinking from this source, it is as a result of the decision that we took. This is the effect of it. Now, if you look at the amount of money that was mentioned, 800,000 Ghana cedis, that amount of money could have built an average of 30 mechanized boreholes. This community needs just one mechanized borehole, just one. And it would have saved all of them. It would have saved a lot of them from unnecessary, preventable death. But just because of the decision that you and I went to take. Of course, when I make reference to you and I believe some of you did not take certain decisions, but the truth of the matter is majority per Electoral Commission took that decision. And this is the effect of the decision that was taken. The second effect of how governance affects your future, my future. Remember, after taking that decision 2016-2020, we recorded something that we referred to as the burst contaminated fuel scandal, where Burst sold 5 million liters of contaminated fuel to an unlicensed company, not even a licensed company, an unlicensed company. That is one aspect of it. The amount involved was 7 million Ghana cedis. That is how much Ghana lost in revenue as a result of this contaminated 5 million liters. 7 million Ghana cedis is what we lost Today we sit here, and you and I, everyone will say, oh, free education. We'll come and say education this. This person comes and say education that. In other words, everyone who gets the opportunity talks to you and I about the importance of education. But people fail to appreciate the quality aspect of education, because it is not just going through the system that makes you an educated person. It is how quality the system that you go through is. Do you know that in the year 2021, Ghana had 5,400 schools under trees? 5,400 schools under trees. And those of you who don't know or appreciate what schools under trees is or are, this is an example of it. These students, our sons, our daughters, our brothers and our sisters, they are preparing to go and write the same examination called BEC, with individuals sitting in a different location in the same jurisdiction called Ghana. They write the same papers. You study under this environment and you ask yourself, how prepared will you be to go and write the same exams? What is the foundation? If we refer to these individuals as our future leaders, what is the foundation that we are giving to them? Now, as at 2023, out of the 5,400 schools under trees that we are seeing, the government has only been able to build 17 schools, or taking 17 schools under trees from under the trees. 17 out of the 5,400. So you can do your calculation and ask yourself, how many more schools under trees do we have left? How many more of our students, our future leaders, are going through this process, preparing them to be future leaders? And yet our constitution, the 92 constitution, talks about, laying the same foundation, or free, equal, or equitable foundation for all citizens. How can you convince me that individuals studying under this tree, we are giving them the same foundation? Of course, I'm not arguing that it started now. No, that's not the point. The point I'm communicating to you is that if you go to make, or you go and make decisions, whatever decisions you take or you make, 7th December, the one that you decide on, that person has the power and the ability to determine what is a priority and what is not a priority. So that the person can come and say that, look, I am going to ensure that I give equal access in terms of infrastructure to our future leaders. And so the schools under trees, I am going to eradicate it. I'm going to make sure that I take that thing off. It becomes a thing of the past. Or the same amount of money at my disposal, I am rather going to use it to dig holes in the name of building a cathedral. It is all consequences that we make, or we face as a result of decisions that we take. And that's why I drum into your ears, or into the ears of everyone that I get into contact with, that, look, governance is a serious business. Governance is not a joke. Governance is about your life. It's about my life. It's about our future. No, we shouldn't just reduce governance to just slogans. We shouldn't just reduce governance to, I was born in this political party, and so for me, whether the party is good or not good, I am all for it. I am born into this political tradition, and so for me, whoever they bring, I am all for it. No. Your life is more serious and more important than I was born into a particular political tradition. Your future and the future of your unborn generation is of priority. It's of importance, more important. For you to just limit it to, I was born into this tradition, and so because I was born into this tradition, I am going all out for it, whether that tradition exists or not. And no wonder we can have some leaders leading this country who have the audacity to say that, as for my party, Even if you bring a goat and you brand the goat with my party colors and put the goat in a certain jurisdiction or constituency, that goat will win. That is a big insult. Maybe in the past, that is how they have perceived it. But as we move forward and we prepare for 7th December 2024 election, let us tell these individuals that, look, those thinking or that kind of thinking is already in the past. And we are no more associating, ourselves to that kind of mindset. Because we have come to the realization that governance is a serious business. You remember recently, the now gentleman who has been appointed to be the running mate of the NPP, Matthew Poku Prempeh, was on a platform saying that as far as a certain jurisdiction is concerned in this country, all they need is a party t-shirt and they vote for their party. No. Governance is more serious than this. It is extremely serious than this. Now we go back to the schools under trees that we were talking about. And yes, you may say that, okay, so we have all this, so what's next? Now let me tell you what the decision we took. If we had taken a certain decision, we may have gotten a certain outcome. We are talking about 7 million Ghana cedis. Now, I have in my hand here, and I wish the camera can project or zoom into it. If you look at this, it talks about a project that is being done. And it says the construction of three different 5-unit classroom with ICT and library facilities. This. And it's being done in a constituency in Ashanti region. Now, if you go through this document, you will see the amount of money that is being used to build this 3 different 5 units classroom block with library and ICT facility. The amount is 135 million US dollars. 135 million US dollars. Now see, burst contaminated fuel scandal. Ghana lost a revenue of 7 million Ghana cedis. 7 million Ghana cedis, if you divide this by $135,000, we are getting an average of 11 different 5 units classroom blocks with library facility and ICT facility. 11 different. It has gone to waste. This is the consequence as a result of the decision that we took. The decision that we took during the last period when we had opportunity to cast our votes. The amount has gone to waste. In other words, have gone into some pockets of some individuals. They have enriched themselves at the expense of our future leaders who are still struggling under trees to study. Now, if you look at the document, it tells you that the target for building this is to take care of about 20,000 people or students. 20,000. So you do the calculation again and see. If we had taken the right decision the last time we got opportunity and we had embraced governance as a serious business, knowing very well that it affects our future, 20,000 future leaders over, because we would have built 11 different 5-unit classroom blocks. So over 20,000 future leaders would have had a comfortable place to study. And I believe strongly that these individuals would have been the future leaders. Just because of the kind of foundation we are giving to them, their foundation has become so weak that their ambitions are now being cut short. And it is just as a result of this. Now, on the screen, we have the phone lines. So I don't want to take much of the time from you, the guests, because you, the viewer, you are my guest. You can call in and let's have this conversation. The focus is 2024 elections. It's a battle for your future. It's a battle for your future. Let's look at 2024 general election, December 7th, as an opportunity for us to go and make decisions that will protect our future. Your future, my future. The phone lines are activated. The numbers are there. The next thing that we look at is what we call the Kelny JVG saga. We'll get to there. We'll get there. But let's pick this caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you are calling from?
Mr. Isaac Adefi. I'm coming from Cape Coast.
Isaac Adefi. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah. Please, I wanted to know if there's a way of sending this criminal to International Criminal Court because Akufo-Addo knows what he is doing. That's why he's passing the court. So
Isaac, sorry. The initial part, I didn't get it. You said whether there's a way of doing what?
Sending this criminal to International Criminal Court.
Okay, right.
Rather than sending them to Ghana court. Yeah.
Very well. Thank you very much. That's a good question. I'll get to that. I mean, I'm sure I'll respond to that. Whether or not Akufo-Addo's government, we can take them to the international court at the appropriate time. I'll respond to that. Thank you so much. Now, well, I'm told we have another caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. May I know your name? Hello. Hello? Are you with me? Okay, very well. So I'm sure we are struggling. So we move on to the next saga and has to do with the Kelny GVG saga. Now, the Kelny GVG saga, I'm sure at the right time I'll give you details of it, but there's a caller online. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Yes. Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Abdullah from Tamale.
Abdullah, yes, how is Tamale doing?
Tamale is doing fine. Tamale is doing very well.
Very well. Let me hear you.
My issue has to do with the current trend of politics that is ongoing. You realize that, in fact, Secondia goes everywhere. Whatever comes with his mind, he speaks it out. There's no political direction. Are we going to make the same mistake we made in 2020? Of course not.
Abdullah, can you position yourself a bit? I'm struggling to hear the words. I can hear you talking, but I'm struggling to hear the words.
What I'm saying is that we are not going to make the same mistake we made in 2020.
Which people are not going to make the same mistake? You mean the individuals voting, citizens?
Yes.
Very well.
We will not be making the same mistake by voting for a leader who has been.
Very well. Very well. Thank you very yes.
If you study the politics and the terrain today, you realize that the NDP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia goes to platform, whatever comes to his mind, that's why he speaks. There's no political direction.
Very well. Thank you so much, Abdullah. I agree with you, and I pray so, and I hope so, because as I indicated, it is not just about the voting. It's not about whether or not you see it to be fun. No, that's not it. It's not about jubilating because my party has won or my party has lost and so I am mourning. No, that's not about it. It goes beyond that. It is about your future. It's about your life. The next 4 years, the next 20 years. Look, the debt that we have incurred over these past years, only God knows how many years it will take for us to clear that debt. Your children, my children. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Azim.
You are calling from?
Azim.
Azim, very well. And your name?
My name is Abdul.
Abdul, let me hear you.
You see, Bawumia and Nana Akufo-Addo, are they serious in this country? Hello?
I'm listening. Oh, it's a question you want me to answer?
No, I think Bawumia.
Sorry, right. I'm listening. Go on, please.
You look at the next Ghana. You can't buy anything in this country.
Dude, can you reduce the volume on your TV set? Can you reduce the volume on your TV set? And anyone who is calling, kindly reduce the volume on your TV set so that we can talk quickly and then we can get the next person to also have his or her time. Abdul, I'm listening.
Hello.
Yes, go on. Yes, go on.
I think you see, they mess Ghana at all. You can't buy any. If you go to market, you can't buy anything. If they come to sit on television, they say what they like because they are not at the ground. We are the ground. You know what you are facing in the ground. So you just leave them. Let them what they are doing. Just leave them. You will leave them, but on the 7th December, you will show them. Even is Baumia Muslim? Baumia is not a Muslim.
Abdul, we've heard you loud and clear. Thank you so much for calling in. So, Kearney JVG saga. Okay, let me pick this next caller. The callers, yeah, you are my guest, so let me give you the opportunity. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you.
Your name, please, and if you can speak out a bit loud.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you? I am PJ calling from Elembele.
Elembele. Sule, please go ahead.
Please. In fact, at times, when you listen to Baumia and yes, PJ, not Sule, please. When you listen to Baumia and Ade, wonder whether people are living in Ghana here or they are living in a different, whether they are living in a different planet. With all these scandals,
Sule, are you online?
Hello,
Yes.
I'm online, please.
Can you please go quick or a bit fast with it so that others can come in?
With all these scandals, etc., I was in the know. He came around, and the only campaign message he had was this: that he is a Muslim. We, the Muslims, should vote for him. And I was taking a chance to ask him whether in 2016 he, Baumia, or the people sitting around the MPP people, they voted or not, because there was a Muslim on the ballot box. How can Ayaraga was a Muslim? But we, all of us, voted for either Wado or John Mahama. Was there not a Muslim there? So please, there are certain things we should not even go. I was advising my people, if they come on religious term, ethnicity, etc., we should ignore them. Politics is not about religion, it's not about ethnicity, it's not about anything. It's about the welfare of the people.
I agree with you, Sule, very well. Look, where we are now, it has nothing to do with tribe, religion, or what have you. It's about competence. As I indicated, it is about your future, it is about my future. I don't care whether the person has a green background, yellow background, red background, whatever background. As long as I believe and I'm convinced that the person can secure my future, help me with my future, I should be able to decide on that person. And that is what we need. Well, as I was saying, before the next caller comes in, as I was saying, now you look at the Kearney JVG saga. Now, with this, such a very unnecessary duplication of duty kind of contract that the Akufo-Addo Baumia-led administration decided to give contracts, a contract that when you go into the details, you realize that it absolutely makes no sense. It is just an avenue to waste the taxpayers' money. But unfortunately, that is what this government decided to do. And why? They did it because of the decision we took. 2020, the decision we took, 2016. But as I indicated, 2024. If this past 8 years, our future has been messed up as a result of the decision that we took. This time, we are going to make the right decision. Now, in that contract, an amount of $89.4 million was given to Kearney GVG. They were to monitor and deal with revenue losses involving telecommunications companies. And indeed, this is something that was already being done. That's why I indicated that this was purely a duplication. And I would want to refer to it as just job for the boys, or an avenue to siphon and to use our taxpayers' money. That was all about it. But look at the amount of money we are talking about here. $89.4 million. This is how it robbed your future. Now, and I'm making reference to kidney and dialysis problems in Ghana. And if you are closer to anyone who is battling with this, you will appreciate what I'm talking about. You will appreciate it. Now look at it. We had 1,000, or we have an average of 1,195 patients receiving treatment as we speak now. 14 died per the results and the reports that we have. Dialysis crisis, 14 individuals, 14 souls, 14 Ghanaians, they died at Kolebu over supply shortage. Between May and September 2023, just May and September, this month, less than a year, these were the number of individuals that died. And I'm speaking based on reports that I have. Ghana has 51 dialysis centers. Out of the 51 dialysis centers that we have in Ghana, it is only 40 of them that is working. 40 that is working. Now, 65% of these life-saving facilities are concentrated in Greater Accra only. 65%. Remember, we have 16 regions. Greater Accra, out of the 40 that is working from the 51 that we have, 65% is concentrated, or can be concentrated, or can be seen only in Greater Accra here. 7 regions do have 0 dialysis centers or machines. 7 regions. So what it means is that out of this, what we have is that if 7 regions out of the other regions that we have, if 7 regions do not have, it means that unfortunately, if you have a relative or you yourself, you are in that region, those 7 regions, and unfortunately, you are battling with kidney diseases, you can imagine what you will go through it. Now, out of this number that we have, the centers that we have an average of 6 machines per center. And approximately 4 patients do vie for 1 machine. In other words, they depend on 1 machine. This is how the decision you took has robbed your future. That if we had taken a certain decision and we had perceived governance as a serious business and not perceived it as partisanship, coloration, tribe, religion, I was born into this party tradition, and so I'm going with it. But if we had considered our future, we would have been able to protect and save lives of our fellow brothers and sisters who are battling with dialysis issues. Just with the Kearney GVG saga, we are looking at $89.4 million. That has virtually gone into people's pockets. Gone into people's pockets. That amount of money, we could have been able to buy 4,470 pieces of dialysis machine. 4,470 from just that contract, that saga only. And just think about the number of lives and the number of families that this amount of money, if we had used it in buying this dialysis machine, we could have protected or saved. A number of messages have come through. Let me read them. So this one says, "Good evening, Mr. Wilson. In fact, sometimes I wonder why any reasonable person still support this useless MPP, especially the one who calls himself as a doctor. There's no name. Baumia wants to argue with former President John Mahama, claiming that John Mahama is an empty barrel, and now he wants to seek his advice. What does this speak of Dr. Baumia himself? There's still no name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. You are welcome back. Thank you so much. In fact, it's like the president, the vice, and the entire government are taking us as if they are the only intellectuals in the country. That I agree. We have seen their performance and can tell the differences. It's well with them. So they don't think we are suffering, but God will decide in December. This is coming from Reverend Justice Aposa from Ho. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. JM should not make a mistake in debating Baumia. Debate can change the outcome of the election results. The debate is in the pockets of Ghanaians. I am Christian Ekwamwa from Odome Chala in the Oti region. I miss you, Mr. Wilson. Thank you so much. I miss you so much too. Good evening, Mr. Wilson Jr. The debate is in the pocket of every Ghanaian. $1 to 16 Ghana cedis is the debate. May Allah give long life to vote out this useless, nepotistic, and corrupt government. I am Comrade Masawood from Akwitia. Masawood, thank you for doing the watching. All that Ghana needs is honest and truthful leaders, and I found this in John and Jane from Kweku Nana Bugri. If Baumia, still want to debate NDC as a party, if Baumia still want to debate, NDC as a party should delegate me, Assemblyman for Bio Tanko electoral area of the Bongo district in Upper East, to debate him. $1 was 2 cedis and Mahama was called incompetent. But now $1 is more than 15. So MPP, what name can we call you now? All NDC big men and women in the city should go home and help seriously to rescue the nation. I am Honorable Akogo Emmanuel Ayimpanga, Assembly Member for Bio Tango electoral area. All right. Baumia rejected a debate. Why does he want a debate now? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. No debate. Like you said, Ghanaians have seen JM's work and Mahmoud Baumia's work. I am Kipo from Tuna, Savannah region. Baumia has no message. He says everything in 2016, and now it is hunting him. That is why he's talking about toilets and mobile phones. This is Pizarro from Ashaiman. Good evening, sir. You are really doing a good job for Mother Ghana. Thank you. This MPP party are criminals and they don't think like leaders. We are for Mahama 2024. You didn't add your name. In Ghana, the process of voting deals with personality and tribalism instead of focus on the values that will change our country to benefit the less privileged and the jobless. This is Andy from Insawam. Hello, Mr. Wilson. I really appreciate what you've done for the Ghanaians. God bless you and the XYZ TV. I am Bright. Bright is my name from Brekum in Kantanka. Brown Hafo. Good evening. I think the debate war called by Dr. Baumia is unnecessary. Ghanaians should look at themselves individually and compare their current lifestyle to that of when JM was president. Let's say JM was president, but form a solid team of economic management team that it is not so clear. This one says, I thank God for your life, for the great work you are doing for our motherland, Ghana. This one says, please, God bless you for the good work you people are doing. I'm watching live right now. My name is Najib. This government is destroying Ghana. He must be published for what he has done. No. Good evening, sir. You are really doing a good job for motherland. This MPP party are okay. They don't think like, okay, we are for, okay. This is Adonis from Nungwa. Adonis, okay. Good evening, sir. I am Isa from Kumasi. This is the type of program our nation, as a nation, we need on our TV screen. My brother, good work done. Okay, you didn't add your name. Okay, you say Isa from Kumasi. Very well. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I've observed this current government led by Nanado, Dr. Baumia, don't have the genuine interest of Ghanaians at heart, because from my own assessments and analysis of prevailing issues of the economy in general, This administration has not been sincere or honest with the people of Ghana. They have been taking us for a ride, and we Ghanaians are not angry enough. It's high time we let them know and feel our displeasure come December 7, 2024. Simply put, this government is a scam. Ex-President Mahama shouldn't partake in any debates with Dr. Bawumia. Mahama is already known, and Bawumia is looking for public exposure. Mahama, all the way, MPP has inflicted a very excruciating poverty on us. Look, the water being fetched as shown in the video is deadly. And I wish that that water is shown on the screen whilst I read the messages, because truly speaking, a lot of people seem to have lost touch with what the realities are. But if you have sympathy and empathy, I don't think you'll be a happy person seeing your fellow human being taking this kind of water. Good evening. In fact, this government has no sympathy for the ordinary Ghanaian. We, the youth of this nation, will not sit and watch this insensitive group of family and friends run this nation in the wrong direction. The day of probity and accountability is coming. Ghanaians need change, and change needs Ghana. From Adams Bupe. This one says, Dr. Bawumia calling the former president, His Excellency Mahama, for a debate is not needed. How can you compare a parrot to an eagle? And this is from Kwame, from Dominase. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. You are welcome back. Thank you. In fact, it's like the president, the vice, and the entire government are taking us. I think I've read this. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This year's election is about the future of Ghana. We will vote for JM come 7th December. We will protect the ballot box and make sure the will of the people are respected by the EC. And this is Amati Samuel from Atebubu. All right. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This year's election is about the future of Ghana. We'll vote, okay, the same thing. Good evening, my favorite TV station, TV SYZ. And welcome back, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you. I am Abdul Samed from the Upper East region, Zebila. Mr. Wilson, Ghana is in the hands of an impudent and impulsive Ghanaian. Oh, gosh. Abdul, the message is very long. There's a lot of messages. So, thanks for bringing in the message. I am watching you live from Gurugu, really? By Sadiq, truthful. They will judge us all. Mr. President, may God bless John Mahama and Atta Issa in Sanarigu constituency, Tamale. Okay. My great concerns about this current ruling government is not encouraging at all, because they have messed everything. They have performed worst ever under the Fourth Republic. We as Ghanaians are suffering under the hardship of this government called MPP. They have failed, hopefully. Come December 7th, Ghanaians should open their eyes. Okay, from Evangelist Paul at Abutia Kope. Evangelist, thank you. Hello, good evening. My name is Ibrahim Abubakar from Atebubu. Good analyzing of this country. Let us rise up and fight for the future of our children, because Ghana needs somebody who has a vision, who can take us to the promised land. And that is John Mahama. Thank you, and God bless you. Well, this one didn't add the name, but it says that, well, this is full of propaganda. Well, that is okay, whatever it is. Look, as I keep saying, it depends on where you sit or where you stand. There's no two ways about that. But as I indicated, governance is a serious business. You may want to give it whatever name you want to give it to. You may want to say or define it whichever way. You may want to even perceive it whichever way. You see, when you write the number 9, depending on where you stand, you may look at it as 9 or you may see it as 6. It depends on where you stand and what you see. But the bottom line is governance is a serious business. Serious business because it affects your future, it affects my future. The future of the next generation. Just think of it. The amount of money Ghana has been sunk into in the name of debt. And ask yourself, how long is it going to take for us to come out of it? You give birth today to a child, and the innocent child already is in debt. That's what it means. That's not the kind of country we want to build. That's not the kind of country I want to leave behind. And I believe that's not the kind of country you want to leave behind. Even if during our lifetime, we are not able to enjoy the fruits of it. let us always remember that coming December 7th, 2024, we are going to make a governance decision. And that decision should set the foundation for us to leave a strong foundation for our next generation. Even not for our sake, but for the next generation. All too soon, this is where time will allow us. As I indicated, because I have missed you, I've been out for a while. I came in for us to have an interaction, for me to also touch base. And I'm so happy that we have touched base. There are a lot of messages still coming, and unfortunately, I will not be able to read all of them. But let us keep the conversation moving on. Next week, we are going to zoom into the real conversations, and we'll have a guest or two guests. But have in mind that as we prepare for 2024 general elections, it is going to be purely based on issues, and we are going to probe the policies that will come from the various political parties. For the record, we have sent communication to both the NDC and the NPP leadership, their chairman, their communication officers. We've sent messages to them requesting for panel members from them to come and speak on their own policies. Anyone that responds will give the platform to that person, because we want to discuss policies. You are talking about giving a mobile phone out for us to be paying 1 CD a month or a year or whatever. Ghanaians want us to probe it here, for us to appreciate it. You are talking about 24-hour economy. Ghanaians want you here for us to probe into it. And so don't run away. We are hoping that the two parties that we have reached out to, they will respond to our messages, so that next week we will zoom into real activities. All too soon, this is where time will allow us. I've really missed you. I wish we could have more time. But trust me, we'll be having more engagement from next week, Monday. This coming Wednesday, we are going to have a repetition of today's episode, as we always do. 11 a.m. this coming Wednesday. Tune into your favorite TV platform or station, TV XYZ. When you go to our Facebook and our WhatsApp platforms, our YouTube platforms, you can also have a repetition of it. Call in your friends and your colleagues who missed today's episode. You can share the links with them and tell them to watch it. Tell them that Politics and Beyond want them to appreciate the fact that governance is a serious business. And let them also tune in this coming Wednesday at 11 a.m. Next week, Monday, same time, on TV XYZ, 8 p.m., we'll have another episode. We'll have another interesting episode. Till we meet again next week, Wednesday, I am still your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., the Chief Crusader Against Corruption in Ghana here. And all I can say for now is good night.